Welcome back to Meet the Industry. My name is Jocelyn, and today I'm sitting down with the beautiful and talented Sabryna.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited because today is super special. Try It is out today.
Officially out. It's been a long time coming.
Right. And I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit. And I know it's not about pizza, even though there's a pizza on your thing, which I would try it. But we're going to talk about it a little bit later about what the song is about and the process and all that stuff. But let's take it back to the beginning. You're actually not from here, right?
No, I am actually from New Zealand, believe it or not.
I know.
I know. That's what everyone tells me. And when I meet another Kiwi in Los Angeles, they're like, you're kidding me. Like, you're lying. Because I've lost my accent.
Right. I'm like, no, but even just the way you are, you're like totally LA.
Oh,
like,
really?
Totally. Like, you look like you've been here your whole life, like you're from Melrose or something. Like, you just look so LA to me.
I mean, it's funny because, like, growing up in New Zealand, I always just felt like I belonged in LA. I just felt like that's where I need to be. That's, like, where I see my life kind of, like, blossoming, you know? And I think when I finally made that move, it was like, oh, I could finally just
be yourself.
Be the me that I always wanted to be, you know? I don't know. This city, it has a vibe to it. And my first year in LA was actually really tough. It was like a struggle for me. But like, I mean, yeah, through that and like everything that I've learned in this city, I just have become who I've always wanted to be.
It's so crazy though. Like what, you know, it's not like you're from like Chicago or something that's still in the States. Like, what was your introduction to LA? Like, what was your fascination at the time when you were over there with LA?
Back in New Zealand? I mean, it's kind of everything you see on TV and in the movies, you know? It's like this, almost like this dreamland where, you know, dreams come true and it's where you become, you know, who you're destined to be. I don't know. It's like we just see America like as this like golden land. I don't know.
That's so crazy because, like, you know, you're from here and it's so like tainted. You're just like, oh, it's just, you know, the freeway's crazy. Like, we're always complaining, but other people, I always get so inspired by other people that come here, especially from different countries, because that's extreme. Like, you're leaving everything behind. Like, I can't even move 10 minutes away from my mom because I'm like, oh, where are you, mommy? But, you know, it's crazy. So you mentioned, like, your first year here, you struggled. So what were, like, some of the things, like, you had to get acclimated or, like, what was the toughest thing for you?
Honestly, it was a culture shock for me.
Really?
Yes. Well, I mean, before LA, I actually lived in Boston. I went to Berklee College of Music there. And so I kind of, like, had my first taste of, like, living in the U.S. in Boston.
Right.
You know? And I would just say America is just, it's a totally different culture. The people are different. Like, the way people interact with each other is different. So that would be the biggest thing I kind of had to get a grasp of. And then, like, LA is like, it's like a little universe all of itself, you know? And, like, I was just so excited to be here and to kind of, like, finally start my dream. And it didn't happen exactly the way I thought it would happen. You know, my first year was really tough. And I think I was naive. That was my problem. I was really naive.
How long? You said you've been here for a year now?
I've been here 2 years.
2 years. Okay. That's actually really good, though, because I feel like usually it takes a long time to really, you know, get going and start actually doing your dreams, because people come here and end up not doing what they came here to do, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, people get sidetracked so easily.
No, totally. Yeah. And I was really lucky to have, like, supportive parents who were, like, behind me 100%. So I didn't have to have, you know, a 9-to-5 to, you know, get by. I was so blessed in that retrospect. So I could just put all of my energy into my dreams. You know what I mean?
Right. And so you went to school in Boston, right?
I went to school in Boston.
But you dropped out, right?
I dropped out.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's one of, like, the biggest decisions to make, especially since you moved, you know, to the States to go to school. So what was that conversation like in your head? What were you saying to yourself? Or, like, how did you say, like, you know what, I'm just going to quit school and move to LA and not really have a solid plan?
It was, you know, when I applied to Berklee, I was super excited because it's this amazing school that has this incredible reputation and so many musicians have gone there. And it is an amazing school, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. And my time there was great in the fact that like I met a lot of people, like other talented peers, you know, and I think I learned the most from them. But in the classrooms, I don't know, I kind of started losing my passion a little bit. And I started to feel a little disconnected from my art and my music. And so that was kind of like the red flag for me. I was like, you know what? This isn't working out for me. And I knew I had a lot to offer to the world. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to, instead of graduating from school, just get out there and start doing what I meant to be doing, you know? I do think school is definitely an amazing place to be. I mean, knowledge is power. Like that is key, you know? But for me, I don't know, it was just that little voice in my head and in my heart. That was really what was leading me, my heart telling me, you know, there's more for me out there and I need to find it. So
what was that conversation like with your parents?
Terrifying. Really,
I can imagine.
Really scary. You know, my parents they're older, you know, so they're a little bit more traditional in that sense. But they took it like champs. Like they really, they were, I was surprised how supportive they were. They just kind of got it. And they were like, if this is what you want to do, we are behind you. We will support you. And they did. And they have ever since.
Were you always like very into like music?
Always.
So they kind of, I feel like maybe they were like prepared for it maybe.
Oh, no, I think they were. I think they saw it coming. And actually, I think when I told them I wanted to go to college, they were a little bit like, oh, okay. Well,
you're like, we didn't prepare for this.
If this is what you want to do, oh, dear. You know? So I think it wasn't a surprise.
So Boston, from what I've, you know, read, was a very big learning experiences in a lot of different ways. You were also in a relationship at the time.
I was, yes. I was in a relationship. And it wasn't, I'm very glad I went through it. I really believe that we go through things for a reason. And there are like these big moments and lessons in our life that happen to teach us things. And that was one of those for me. It was a really unhealthy relationship. And I was just very, very young. And it was definitely tough to get out of that. But it's the best thing I ever did. And honestly, I wouldn't be me if it weren't for that relationship.
Right. And then was that someone that you met when you first got here?
It was, yes. And he lived in Boston. He was actually really into fashion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a stylist. So I kind of learned a lot from him, like fashion-wise. But yeah, we got into it way too fast, and he just had a lot of problems, you know. And I'm the kind of person who has a big heart, and I really thought I could fix him,
right?
Or
I feel as women, we want to do that.
We want to nurture, you know, and that's a wonderful thing. And I'm really glad I have that quality in me. But you have to protect yourself too, you know. Like there is a part of you that's sacred, and I was pretty broken at that time. So that really was a huge factor for me why I left Boston, for sure.
And well, number one, I think obviously a lot of credit is due, you know, to you, because it's really hard to leave a relationship, whether it's toxic. Well, usually it's toxic and that's why you want to leave, but it's usually very difficult to leave a bad relationship. So props to you.
Thank you.
Because that's huge. But the reason why, you know, I really wanted to bring that up is because I feel like those relationships really impact how you see yourself, or, you know, sometimes you're like, oh my God, maybe I wasn't good enough, or what could I have done, when it has nothing to do with you.
Oh, totally. And it took me so long to figure that out. Oh my gosh. Like even after I got out of the relationship, you know, it was these thoughts in my mind, like I'm the reason that he treated me that way, or, you know, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And in actuality, it had nothing to do with me. You know, it was all his inner problems. You know, he really, he had so much pain in his heart, you know, that he had to kind of take it out on me. Right. You know, I was like I was there, you know, and I took it. So, yeah.
It's unfortunate when that happens, because you love that person, but you also cannot stay in a relationship like that. You can't fix anyone. I don't think you can really fix or change anyone.
No, I don't think you can either. I think people have to want to change for themselves.
Right.
You can't do that yourself. It's too big of a task. It comes from the inside out. And that's what he had to do.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I can't even get myself to stop doing bad things. I'm like, what's wrong with me? But, that's why you can't change others. If you can barely change yourself. You know what I mean?
It's very true.
So the other reason why I say that is, how do you think that affected you? Or do you think that affected you as an artist? Like not feeling good enough? Because being a woman and being an artist, I feel like that's so much pressure because you constantly have to look good and you constantly have to have this like persona, you know what I mean? Did it affect you in any way? Not feeling like worthy or?
I think it affected me in every aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I look back on it and I am truly like grateful to God that he, made me go through that.
Right.
Like I said, the first year in LA, it was a struggle. I was kind of going through the aftershocks of getting out of that relationship, moving to a new city and kind of going after my dreams, but not really too sure who I was as an artist, what my message was, and kind of having those feelings left after the relationship. Like I'm not worthy. I'm this, I'm that. I wasn't confident. I was, like I said, I was pretty broken. So it definitely, through that experience, I grew stronger and I learned more and more. And, I think people saw me, how do I say this? People saw me being a little bit weak, I think, and took advantage of that. But luckily, I did have support around me to help me get through it and make me a stronger person.
Right.
And that's why I think I am the artist I am now. And that's why I think I have such a strong connection to young girls especially, because I feel like I can help. I feel like I can be some kind of a light to them, and show them that you can be whoever you want to be. Love yourself unconditionally, So that's why I think I am the way I am now.
It's so crazy because this woman that you talk about like a few years ago, like I can't picture you being that person. Like you're like a little butterfly now. Like you're completely different.
Oh, thank you.
And like you said, I think that's what women need right now. Like I think women need to know that if they are in bad situations, they can get out of them. Or
totally.
If they're not following their dreams, take the leap and follow your dreams. It's a lot of. I'm sure you sacrificed a lot leaving home, but you're living your dream now. You know what I mean? It's so worth it.
Oh my God, it is so worth it. And, for all the young girls that are going through something like that, there always is a way out, even if you feel like there isn't. Because for me, I know I felt like, oh my God, there isn't a way out. Right. There always is. And there's always people who will help you. And, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what.
Right. There's a solution for everything except death itself. But other than that, there's probably something that can fix it.
Totally, yes. And you have to see it for what it really is, and it's a lesson to make you better, to make you stronger and even more beautiful,
Yeah. So if you could go back in time, because I'm always giving myself advice, like if I could go back in time, what would you tell yourself, like in that situation?
Oh, goodness. I would say you're going through this for a reason. And it will get better. And the young woman that you dream about being, that you see and visualize in your mind, you will become that person. Just be patient and, remain strong and silent in your heart. I would say that to myself, because I remember feeling very anxious and flustered. Like I just wanted my dreams to happen so badly,
Yeah.
But now they are,
And it was worth the wait, I'm assuming.
Oh my gosh, it's totally worth the wait. And things happen the way they do for a reason. There was a reason I went through that journey. Yeah. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I feel like that also adds to like your purpose, like why you do what you do.
Oh yeah, oh totally.
How long did it take you to like really like find yourself, or what did you do to find yourself? Because I feel like people think like, oh, I know who I am, but you always learn about yourself and you're always kind of reinventing yourself. Like, how did you learn, or how did you get to where you are today? Like self-care or just really like spending time with yourself. How did you get to this part?
It really was through, I guess, trial and error, finding what worked for me and what made me feel good, from the inside out. I think honestly, if you're feeling good on the inside, it's like, it shows, like you just kind of, you glow, So, once I kind of got out of my bad situations and I started to cut out toxic people in my life, and not that just that relationship. It was people I started to meet in LA who didn't have my best interests at heart.
Right.
Once I started to get out of that and come into my own, that's really where I found like my purpose and like really found my groundings. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And now I'm really proud to say that, I'm an independent artist. I'm self-made, and I love that. I look at myself as like an entrepreneur. I own a label now. I signed myself.
That's awesome. Congratulations on both.
Thank you. So, I just hope that I can inspire other young girls, to do it for themselves.
Did anyone inspire you, or like, we always look up to people. Did anyone do that for you?
Madonna.
Really?
I adore Madonna. And what's funny is that like her music is great, but I've never really been like a huge Madonna like fan of her. You know what I mean? Like of her music.
I'm like, I think you're too young. That's why.
That's probably why. I just haven't been around it enough.
Right.
But then I watched her documentary. I think it's called Truth or Dare, and it's about her world tour. What's it called?
Is it the one with the jackets and stuff?
The blonde. What is it? Okay, I can't remember. But anyways,
Google it after it.
But anyways, everything about her just like blew me away. Like she just has this energy when she walks into a room. She owns it. She says how she feels. She doesn't give an F. Can I curse?
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't give a fuck. So, I don't know. I just admired that so much. And that's honestly why I do the blonde ponytail. It's in honor of her.
Okay. I feel just like when I do red lips, it's in honor of Selena. So I feel you.
Okay. You know what I'm saying then. Yes. So she totally inspired me. So yeah, I would say Madonna for sure. Just more her attitude than anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then more like performance-wise, Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
I'm
not a huge, like, Beyonce fan. Like, I'm not, like part of the Beehive. But, like, you cannot take that away from her. Like, the way she performs, her work ethic, like, it's amazing.
No, I mean, she literally is a goddess to me.
No,
like,
she's
fabulous, So, like, I definitely admire her. Just strong females in general.
Unapologetic.
Yes. Being who they are, loving who they are, I just feel like that's such a great example for young girls.
What is it like being a woman in a male-dominated industry?
It's definitely interesting.
Okay.
I think you have to learn to love it. Like you have to learn to love being a female in a male-dominated industry in order for you to be successful in it. Like, you got to use it to your advantage, So, like, that's how I look at it now.
It's like leverage.
It totally is leverage, yes. Like, I think as females, we have a power in us, that men don't have. And I think men are sometimes intimidated by that. So
it's kind of interesting to see when a man is intimidated by like what you do or you're able to do. It's kind of empowering in that aspect.
Oh no, it totally is. I love it. I love to see them squirm. It's like
we hate men. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh no, we don't.
No, but like when you go, have you ever had a meeting and you felt like you weren't taken seriously because you're a woman, and then you start talking, they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes. All the time, I would say. And I feel like that's sort of why I went through my struggles in the first year in LA. Okay. It was being a female. It was being very naive. I'm way too trusting of people. That was my first problem. And I think, men see that as like an opportunity.
Right.
And the first thing they want to do is hit on me.
Right.
Every time,
I mean, you can't blame them, but I feel you.
Oh, well, thank you, girl. I appreciate that. But, like that really took me off guard at first. Like I'm trying to just
work.
I'm trying to do my business. Like, I'm not in it for that. So I had to learn how to handle those situations and maintain that strength in a room, because there's always kind of like, when you're having a conversation with somebody, there's always kind of like, especially with a man and a female, there's like this power struggle almost.
Right.
And the man always wants to be leading it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want a female,
telling them what to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you as a female, you have to like maintain that strength.
Like, no. Let me get my point across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to say, and you're going to listen to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say, did you know, going back, because I'm like big on like manifestation, like visualizing.
Oh, girl, don't get me started.
Like,
don't not get me started.
Has been,
here we go. Let me get comfortable. Okay.
Right.
Now the interview gets interesting. Okay.
So has there been anything that you manifested or you visualized and then manifested?
I am visualizing and manifesting every single day.
Okay.
And like once I learned about the law of attraction, it was like game over, like game changer for me. So honestly, I am now in a routine where, every night before I go to bed, I talk to myself and I say, okay, how did I feel today? What were the thoughts that went through my head? And how can I change that so that tomorrow I live like a better life and I have a better day, So honestly, I would say like every single day. I would say like today, this single coming out, that was totally manifested, Yeah. Me meeting my team, Kim and Sean, like I manifested that, and I'm proud of it.
That's amazing. So what's your, because people have different methods of like manifesting. What is your preferred method? Like
I
writing
would
it
say
down?
Sometimes I write it down. I have a little whiteboard in my room that I write all my goals. It's to-do list. It will like a mantra for the day. That's really important to me. But honestly, I would say what works the most for me is visualization. Visualizing what I want and then having the feelings to go with it.
Right.
Once you have that, it is like game over. It's so powerful, man. And it blows my mind how many people don't know about this.
Right.
And they're just kind of living their life on autopilot and they just have no idea how much like control they have over their reality. Right. It all starts in here, in your mind. Right. That is,
and people say that like the mind is powerful. Like I always heard that in my life, like throughout my life, but I never understood it. I never understood why until I started watching all these videos and reading and understanding that it literally is so powerful, like so powerful.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's mind blowing how powerful it is. And I really believe that like that's kind of God's gift to us in this life, and it's all about how can I use that tool to make my life better,
Right. And then because you help others and that brings so much abundance and all that stuff. What was your first, like, how did you hear about the law of attraction?
Honestly, The Secret.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I remember when that book came out, everybody talked about. Oh yeah. But I was like, what does that mean? Like, what secret? But I read it way later. And then, there's so many videos like on YouTube and stuff.
Oh, so many. And once I watched, because I actually haven't read the book. I've only seen, the movie before it was on Netflix.
Right.
But like once I like saw that, I was like, oh my God, like how does no one know about this? This is insane. So then I started doing my own research, like online. I started reading every book I could about it. Audiobooks is like my new thing. I'm obsessed. And just learning as much as I could. And I've always been a really spiritual person. I get that from my mom. And I've always had a really strong relationship with God. And so once I kind of learned about the law of attraction, it was just like, click, like, that makes so much sense.
Right. And, a lot of people think that if you believe in God, you can't really believe in the universe. But it's like you said the universe is God's gift. Even in the Bible, he says that, like, everything you want to create is in your mind. Absolutely. So I'm like, thank you, God, you love us.
Absolutely. And when I looked back on my life and I kind of saw how things had played out, I was like, oh my God, I can see why that happened. And, you know, like, I created that. And it's just like
the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. Yes, yes. And taking responsibility for the bad. That's huge, you know? So it was game over for me.
And then you become so like conscious of what you're saying.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like so many times you're like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. And because you say that, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're putting all of your energy and focus onto the not wanting something. Right. You know, when really you got to switch it around. It's all about your perspective.
Right. I love that you like so believe in that and you believe in God.
Yes. Honestly, I'm like screaming it at the top of my lungs, like.
And you know what? I feel like because I was gonna ask you, like, how do you maintain such a bubbly, such a great personality? Bubbly.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, it just comes from within. I open my mouth and things come out. I don't know. It's about just maintaining happy and keeping yourself happy, you know, and I am really grateful that I am in a place in my life where I genuinely really love me and I go to bed really happy with myself and I wake up that way. And, you know, that's kind of where it all comes from. And then just having great people in my life, people who are like uplifting and we uplift each other, you know, I think that's where it comes from. And not really caring what other people think.
Right. Oh my God! Speaking of which, so there was I think a few weeks or months, I don't remember. You gave out your phone number, and you actually recently did it again.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did that even come about, and why did you do that?
I would love to say it was all my idea, but I have a very smart man on my team, Sean, who came up with this genius idea. And honestly, me being an independent artist, my fans are so important. I mean, they're important for every artist, but I just felt like I needed to form a stronger bond and connection to my fans, especially, you know, these young girls that I care for so much. And so what better way to do that than through text? It's so personal. It's like one-on-one, direct communication. And like, I really have relationships with my fans. Like, how many artists can say that? So I'm so proud of that. And it's been so successful to me. And I can't tell you how many people, like, are like, are you crazy? Like, what is your problem? Like, but it's worked for me. It really has.
So you've been able to, like, talk back and forth? Or what happens when they text you? Or what do they text you?
Well, I mean, sometimes they'll just be like, hey, like, is this really you? Is this Sabryna? And I'm like, yeah, hey, girl, like, what's up? Like,
send a selfie.
What's cracking? Like, send me a selfie. But when they do text me, I have it lined up so that they automatically get like an automated message, you know? And it's basically just because I get so many messages that it helps me keep them organized, you know? So you can click a link and basically put in your info, like your name or socials or whatever. And then I know who I'm talking to, and then I can really, you know, conversate. And then we get to chopping it up about, you know what?
Really? So you have, like, full-on conversations with people?
Oh, my God, yes. Full-on conversations. Yes. And at the moment, the lines aren't open for calls.
Okay.
I'm not quite ready to open that floodgates.
Right.
But I think at some point, like, I would love to have it kind of open for a limited amount of time, you know? Then I actually have called fans in the past.
Wow.
And it's always been great. They're always the sweetest. And we have, like, really lovely conversations. And so, yeah, I think in the future, I'll be able to do, like, I don't know, like a special FaceTime with a fan, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
Well, good.
So that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I wish Nas would do that because I'd be like, please text me back. Oh, is this really Nas?
Yes.
So let's talk music. So Try It is out today.
It is out. Get that. Go get it.
Where can they get it?
Everywhere. It's available everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Google Music. It hasn't been put up on YouTube yet, but in a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. What was the process? How long have you been working on it? Is there something else that's coming after this? Like, you know?
Yes. Well, I have been recording music for like the past basically year. And I actually did an EP with a really good friend of mine, a producer called Hannibal.
Okay.
He's so talented. I love you, Hannibal. And we made a body of work together. And Try It was one of the songs, and we all just kind of agreed, like, that's it. That's the single, you know? And I actually happened to work with, I co-wrote all the songs with some friends of mine. One of them is Rollo Spreckley, who I've actually known from high school. And it's the craziest thing.
That is hilarious. Especially because it's, like, not here.
No, totally. Yeah, we went to boarding school together in London.
I always want to go to boarding school.
I've been in boarding school since I was 11.
That's so crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've been writing songs together since we were 15. And then when we graduated high school, I went to Boston and he followed me a year later. And then when I dropped out and moved to LA, he followed me a year later.
Like on purpose?
I mean, not really on purpose. I mean, we're like best friends.
Oh my God.
So I was just so happy he was like following me around the world. But it's just kind of amazing how that worked out. No, totally. I mean, it's a little creepy when you think about it. Like,
but I'm like,
no, I had to like talk, like sit him down and be like Rollo, like, look, are you trying to stalk my ass or like what's going on here? But I just thought, like, I love telling people our history and the fact that he wrote with me on this record because it's just like, what a cool history and story to tell, you know?
Right? It's like full circle. Like you guys did this when you were 15 and now you're doing it again.
No, it was destined to happen. So yeah, so grateful.
What was the inspiration behind this song?
Just fun. We really just I wanted a really fun record on the EP, something that was like summertime, the girls could dance to. You know, I really want to kind of get into the dance community more and be a part of that. And I really felt like Try It was the record.
Yeah. I heard a snippet of it today.
You did?
No, not today. Last night.
Okay. Well, the whole thing's available now, so you better go get that. The snippet doesn't do it justice.
No, I know. I was like, oh. Like, okay, no, but it's good. It's like,
Thank you.
It's like, you're right. It literally embodies like dance summertime.
Yes.
I love records like that.
It's definitely a record for my girls, for sure, you know, and I'm so excited for the rest of the EP to come out because it's all pop music, but it's like, it's a vibe. Like,
but you also have like this amazing voice. So
you
use that and it's like combination. I'm like, what is this pop? Is this R&B? Like, I am so confused, but I like it.
Well, good. That's a good confusion.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. I definitely come from an R&B background for sure. And it's funny because growing up, I really did not like pop music at all.
Okay.
And, you know, I was just so like, no, I love my soul and you know, Luther Vandross and Whitney Houston. And, you know, that's what I grew up on, like old school R&B. And I was kind of anti-pop, even in like my days at Berkeley.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I moved to LA and I started really like becoming friends with writers and sort of, you know, becoming more involved in the music industry that I just grew this love for pop music and started to really understand the skill behind writing a really good pop song.
Right.
To make it sound so effortless and simple.
Yeah.
Is actually super hard. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. Now I'm like a pop lover. And, you know, especially people like Justin Bieber and what he's doing for pop music right now, I think is awesome. It's a really exciting time for pop music. And I just felt like with my background in R&B, I could bring something a little bit special.
Right. Like the female version of Justin Bieber. Because he has that voice too, you know? So,
oh, he does. He's got soul in his voice.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, you can hear that.
And I feel like even the pop sound has evolved so much.
Oh my gosh, yes. And really, pop just stands for popular. And there's really no rules to it.
Right.
Which is what the most exciting part.
Right.
It's like anything goes, you know, as long as it sounds dope.
That's all that really matters.
Go for it, yes. That's what kids want, yeah.
So what are you listening to?
Well, this is kind of like the answer everyone gives, I'm sure, but everything.
Really?
I really try to listen to everything because I feel like it makes me a better artist. You know, like if I get stuck listening to a genre for too long, I'm like, time to switch it up. You know, so like definitely pop music. I love house. I'm like obsessed with like Calvin Harris's like new songs that he's putting out. Like that vibe is dope to me.
That's super summer too.
Oh yes, he is gonna kill this summertime. You know, R&B is I'm always listening to R&B. I love hip hop. Don't get me started on hip hop. I love it. But even like country and even like folk music, like a little bit, like some indie stuff. Like I recently just started watching One Tree Hill again. Do you remember that show?
No, I never watched it, but my friend last night recently started watching it. So that's so funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's like it was huge in America, right?
Yeah,
like maybe 8 years ago or 10
I
years
think
ago.
a while ago, yeah.
But music was such a big part of that show, and it's all like these indie rock bands and stuff. And I'm literally like so into it. Like I just downloaded the One Tree Hill soundtrack. I'm playing it on repeat. Like literally my roommate is like, Sabryna, I'm like, if I hear what song one more time, like I'm obsessed.
That's hilarious.
And it's so different for me than what I usually listen to. But like, I love that. I'm like learning about it, this genre.
And I think it makes for better music because you want to pull something from here, and make this like awesome song.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So it's your EP then, right?
Yes, my
okay.
EP.
So what sounds, or is there a theme, or like what is it? Like give me a little snippet.
I would say the EP it's definitely pop music. I bring a little R&B with my vocals. I would say I was definitely inspired by Justin Bieber's Purpose, but I didn't want to just duplicate it. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be my own artist for sure.
Of course.
So how would I explain it? It's got some summertime vibes. It's got like a little bit of a sexy vibe to some of the songs, and then just like upbeat funness. Okay, youthful, playful. It's an EP. I made it for my girls. To be honest with you, I made it for my girls.
Like it sounds like it's gonna be like feel good music, like what you play to get ready to go out, or when you're already out in the car and like trying to be cute.
It definitely, yes, it has definitely some of those records.
So when is that coming out?
It's up in the air at the moment. I definitely just want to see the feedback that we get from Try It, and just see how that goes and learn as much as I can from it. Because like I said, I'm an independent artist. So, I do this all myself.
Right.
And we strategize, me and my team, sort of like what we want to do with a record and how we want to get it out there. So we're kind of just learning as we go.
And it's so much work. Like, I don't think people really think about how much work it is to even make a song and get everyone together and then market.
Oh, it is a process.
Marketing.
It is definitely a process, And I honestly, when I came into this, my major at Berkeley was music business, right?
Okay, I'm smart.
Thank you. That's what I thought, But everything I learned in school, to be honest with you, was a little bit like behind the times. So when I moved to LA, I really had to like relearn how the music business worked. And it just blew my mind, like how complicated it can be.
Yeah.
But once I learned to like love the business aspect of it and sort of like find my way business-wise, it actually, I think, made me better creatively as well.
Really?
The two really go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And like I'm proud to say that like I really have a great understanding of both now. And I love the business side. I think you have to in order to be successful.
I'm like, you have to. Otherwise, you're going to get played. But
totally.
That's so crazy. Okay, so let's talk about Try It. How do you feel before you put out a song?
Honestly, I was so excited. I woke up this morning and I was like, I feel like it's my birthday and wedding day all in one. Like, it's all about me. I was very excited. I wasn't even that nervous, to be honest with you. Oh, no, not really. Because I just felt like I'm ready. It's overdue. It's time. Let's get it out,
And so what, like I said, it takes so much work to like even just get one song on right now. Because you're still working on other stuff. You're still doing so much. How do you like stay so productive, or how do you stay so motivated?
I would say I don't let myself get lazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my lazy days sometimes or moments, but I'm really good at like picking myself up and getting back to work because at the end of the day, like I really love what I do. Right. And I don't know. I just kind of have this motivation built into me because I love it so much. Right. And that's the key to anything in life. Like if you're doing something you don't love, then, well, no wonder you're not going to feel motivated. Right. That's true. That's true.
So for any lady out there or man, let's not discriminate. For anyone out there with dreams, what piece of advice would you give them? Cliche, but I love advice. Well, like good advice.
I would honestly say you were given this life for a reason. Everybody has a purpose, every single person. and you are in control of your reality. It all starts within your minds and within your hearts. And I would say just don't get caught up in all the bullshit that life hands us sometimes. You know, people are going to say this or that or think this about you or that about you, but none of that really matters. All that matters at the end of the day is truly how you feel about yourself and how you think of yourself. You know, and I would say if anything in life, be your own best friend. That is the piece of advice I would give to a person. Love you and be your own friend.
And, you know, since we're like manifesting over here, where do you visualize yourself in a couple years?
I would say it's music. It's being an artist, just what I'm doing now, but on a much bigger scale.
Okay.
I would honestly love to be like the first successful independent pop star.
Okay.
I see what Chance the Rapper is doing, and I love that. And I kind of want to be like the female pop version of that.
I love it. And I see it. I see it.
I see it too. It's not to say I'm anti-label, because I'm totally not. And who knows, maybe down the road that's what I'm meant to do is sign with the label. But I really want to I'm loving being independent, and I'm just having this freedom that I have at the moment. And I just want to be as successful as I possibly can be.
Okay. I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I loved having you so much. So actually, where can they find you on Instagram and Twitter?
Yes, on Instagram, I am just Sabryna with a Y, music, Sabryna Music. And that's my handle for everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Snapchat, yes. Can't forget that one.
Then
and Musically. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with Musically. It's my new thing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is it usernames? I literally never go on there. But is it
I think so. It's usernames. Yeah. I think so. And I'm just Sabryna Music.
Okay. I love that you're consistent with it.
Thank you. I try.
So make sure to try it. It is out now and it's so good.